This story makes me uncomfortable. I made a video asking you guys to share your paranormal experiences with me, so I knew that sooner or later I would have to share this with you guys. This experience is actually a big driving force behind why I believe the paranormal is normal. Now, this happened a few years ago here in Buenos Aires. I was leaving a nightclub. It was about 3 a.m. I was alone. I had to walk to the bus stop from the nightclub. Now, I'm no saint, but this night I had maybe 2 bottles of beer, small bottles of beer. I just wasn't feeling the vibe and I wanted to go home. So between the nightclub and the bus stop, there is a train track. When I get to the train track, I hear the railroad crossing bell start to ring. So I stop and I wait. Directly across from me, on the other side of the tracks, there is a metal sort of railing that you wait at. And I see this person walking up to the railing, right? It looked like a homeless person or somebody that was living, on the streets. The person also had what looked like to be a bottle in his hand, and he was drinking the bottle. So I assumed it was just a homeless person or, a drunk. Somebody that was in a bad situation, living on the streets. It was late, there was nobody around, just me and this person. I was looking over at the person because they were kind of looking at me while they were drinking from their bottle, but because it was nighttime and they were a bit further, I couldn't make out their facial features. I could tell that they didn't have any hair on their head, they were bald. I think maybe they didn't have shoes on. Like I said, guys, this happened a few years ago, so forgive me if I struggle with some of the details. So this person sort of gets really close to the tracks and starts chugging the bottle, right? Chugging it back. And I'm looking at them going like, what is this person doing? They're too close to the tracks. The train is gonna come right now. The train is coming right now. And they look, like I thought it was somebody that was wasted and they were gonna kill themselves on the track without noticing because they were so drunk. So I start to scream at the person on the track to get off the track because the train is coming. I'm looking over at them and I'm screaming at him, telling him to move back away from the track. He's too close to the track. Now I think he threw the bottle, and this is something that I clearly remember, right? Because this is where it got really crazy. So the train is getting closer and closer, and this person isn't moving. I'm still yelling at them, telling them to back up from the tracks. The train is coming. It's getting closer and closer, louder and louder. I'm screaming. The person's not moving. The light from the train is shining, and it gets closer and closer. The person opens up their arms like this, almost like, that big Jesus statue in Brazil? Sort of like Jesus on the cross kind of thing, like arms wide open, like if you're gonna give somebody a bear hug. Turns over, makes eye contact with me, and falls forward like this, right? Onto the track. I saw their head touch the track on one side and their legs touch the track on the other side, right? And the train just went and passed right over them. But while this guy did this, he made eye contact with me, and the train light hit him. Train light lit him up. I realized he had no hair on his face. He was bald, and he didn't even have eyebrows. I'm serious, like no hair. I start freaking out. At this point, I've completely lost it, right? I'm yelling at the train that they ran somebody over. I'm still alone. I'm yelling, and the train stops. and I'm thinking, oh my God, I just saw somebody kill themselves. Like, what is going on? The first thing I did when the train stopped was go directly to where I saw him throw himself under the train, and I look under the train. Now, when I look under the train, obviously, I see what anyone would see is a mangled, what looked like a mangled kind of body, right? Somebody twisted like a pretzel. It was dark, so I didn't really see much, but just that image made me fall back. I looked away. When I looked back, the person was in a crouched, I don't even know how to say this, how to explain this. This is why I don't like telling this story. It was like they were in a crouched position, but it didn't make sense logically because the space was too small. But it was like they were mangled, and then I looked back and they were like in a crouched position, and it was like he was looking back at me for a second, and then he ran. And at this point, I'm just overloaded with too much. There's too much going on here. I'm freaking out completely. My brain can't even process what's happening. This cop, I think he got off the train. He walks up to me and he says, "Why did you yell? What's going on?" And I said, "They ran somebody over. They ran somebody over." That's all I could say because I was like in shock. I point to where the person was, where I still couldn't believe what I saw, so I thought he was still there. I thought I was in shock. Cop looks and there's nothing there, obviously, because whatever that was now gone. I'm like, no, they ran somebody over. He was right there. There was a dead guy there. The cop is looking at me like, "You're crazy." Like, he asked me, like, "Are you on drugs or something?" And I'm like, "No, like, I'm totally no. I swear to you, there was somebody there. I swear to you." And while I'm saying that, out of the darkness comes a actual homeless person, and he's like freaking out too. The homeless person is freaking out. I think he was pushing like a cart, or he was pulling a cart or something. But I remember that he was freaking out because he was saying, "The kid isn't lying. There was something there and it ran out the other side. The kid isn't lying. He's not lying." I get so uncomfortable whenever I tell this story. I start to get like cold. It's just weird. I start feeling really weird. At this point, there's like traffic behind me. You know, the cops here, the homeless guy's here freaking out, praying. Here's where I just got this sense of fear, like terror. The train conductor gets off the train, walks up to us, me and the cop, super mad, and says, "Where is the guy that I ran over? Where is the guy that threw himself on the track?" And the cop's like, "There is no guy." And I'm like, "There's a guy, there was a guy there." And the train conductor looks at me and says, "He's not lying," to the cop. "I saw the guy. We ran over a guy." Just telling you guys this story is like bringing back those emotions that I was feeling that night. The conductor got back on the train. The cop, I think, was on the train, so he gets back on the train, and the train leaves. The traffic goes by, and then I'm alone. And there was just something about this experience and that fear that I felt after that, and that confusion. I was so confused. It was like my mind couldn't grasp it. I couldn't explain it. So for the next week, the next month, I was just trying to figure out what that was. I was trying to figure out what it meant, right? I'll just be 100% honest with you guys. That was very, very frightening, only because I felt in my gut like that was supposed to happen to me. Like it was a warning or a sign or something. I couldn't really tell anybody either because the story gets so crazy at certain points, like when he's mangled and then he's unmangled. I was afraid to actually talk about it with people. For some reason, I've always been into the paranormal and strange and the fringe. Ever since I was young, I've been looking into those kinds of things, and I can't really ignore it. It's something that happens naturally. But there has been moments in my life where I just forced myself to ignore it. I forced myself not to look into it. Because sometimes the rabbit hole gets so big that you end up more lost than when you first started researching or when you first started. It seems like the phenomenon sort of does that. Like it has some sort of intelligence that helps keep it secret. This experience really reminded me that, the paranormal is normal. Thank you guys for watching this. This is the 50th episode. I can't wait to make 100 episodes. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Tell me who you are, where you're from. If you have a paranormal experience, please share it with me. I am the Undead Gaucho, and we will talk soon, guys.